Okay, it's on its way up. Almost there. Okay, we're live.
Okay. I will call this meeting to order of the Placey County Election Commission. We have a quorum present, all commissioners. Of allegiance. And I will open that up to our participants. Anyone who would, if we have a volunteer who would like to lead us in the pledge.
I'll kick it off.
Oh.
Or Mr. Fogelman, would you like to go ahead and do that? You haven't ever had a chance.
Certainly.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You can find your nearest flag or look in Josh's background there.
There you go.
That's where we do.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States
of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
With that, our next item of business would be the approval of previous meeting minutes. So commissioners, if there's any insertions, deletions, discussions regarding our most recent meeting minutes.
I move to accept the meeting minutes from the October 12th, 2020 meeting.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it looks as if Commissioner Starr has dropped off and I'm readmitting her now.
Okay, we will wait.
Sorry, I got kicked out.
Welcome back, Commissioner Starr. I had just made a motion to accept the minutes from the October 12th meeting.
A second.
I don't see that she's back yet.
Can you, Commissioner Starr, can you hear Commissioner Gomez? I'm showing that she's part of the meeting. I just see that she's muted right now.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Did you hear me?
Some buffering issue on my end. So that might be why I can't hear. I know I heard Commissioner Price.
I'm sorry I'm not muted.
There she is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm having issues, internet issues at this house, so.
Right. I'm currently fraught with the same issues. Commissioner Price, would you mind restating your motion just so we can all hear it?
Certainly. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I move to accept the minutes from the October 12th, 2020 meeting.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Bye.
We will move into our business today, which would be our FAQs. And Commissioner Starr, since you did such a great job of putting that initial FAQ list together. I'm going to turn it over to you for this. I'm going to let you lead that discussion. If you would like to get us started, and then we will move on.
I will. Let me get it pulled up. It's kind of slow.
And while you're doing that, I may add, it was
Very
pretty
frustrating
thorough.
internet. Excuse me. It's still pulling up. Can we put this on the screen, or is it on there right now?
Which one are you going to start with?
Betty, can we put the FAQ?
Which one are you going to start with?
Just the list. The list that was shared. Thank you. So in our previous meeting, we had, sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I lost signal for a second. In our previous meeting, we
Hello?
had asked.
Did we lose Christy?
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you, Commissioner Starr. Can everybody else hear?
Yes.
Okay, I thought I lost the
I
chair.
cannot hear Commissioner Starr.
You cannot hear me? Madam Chair?
I can hear Commissioner Starr. I can't hear Chair Gomez.
Price, I can hear you, and I cannot hear Starr.
Madam Chair, can you hear me?
There we go. Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to turn my computer off because it's obviously there's too much bandwidth to use both devices. And I may holler across the house to tell everybody else to get off any device. So in the previous meeting, we discussed, we invited the county attorney and the county clerk to provide some information on the following, which was one of the processes that the county clerk was utilizing for the absentee drop-off for the drop-through, so that we would have those processes. And the other one was regarding the county building closures, due to the fact that early voting starts on Monday, and it is a county building, and it's included in that executive order that closes the buildings. And as well as election day, our building, the county building, is also a vote center, as well as there on Monday, absentee ballots are going to be opened on the outer envelope, and that is a public meeting and a public event that has to be published in advance, and we have not done so up to date, and that has to be done. A notice has to be done. We have to do the time of that. So there's just a lot of things that have to be kind of put out into the public. So we requested some information regarding some of the language in the executive order and what our requirements are for the election that is going forth, and making sure there's not any confusion. So suggested doing some questions that we could present. Commissioner Price recommended having a meeting today. Thank you, Commissioner Price. And so I created a list of FAQs.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. We discussed having these FAQs a long time ago. So I think this is great. These FAQs are kind of from a voter's perspective. So the goal here this evening is to make sure that we address all these FAQs. We presented these FAQs to the county judge, the county attorney, and the county clerk. And each of those FAQs will touch on, there's several of those FAQs that, of course, the Election Commission can't answer. But we want to make sure that with some of those FAQs, they're in the subject matter expertise of maybe the county clerk or the county judge or the county attorney. So I want to give them the opportunity to answer those where it best suits their expertise. And the goal is to review those FAQs, to fill in the blanks, and then to approve those FAQs, publish those FAQs on our website, and then to send those to all the media sources, outlets, and to the Arkansas Democrat Gazette for publishing, so that we are completely transparent and eliminating any voter confusion. Does that sound about right?
Sounds great. Good. And I want to thank Commissioner Starr for putting this together. You know, I had a little list too, and you've actually covered all the ones that were also on my list. I had about 5 questions that were, you pretty much covered those as well. So obviously we're getting the same type of questions from the voters. So I think this is a great way to clear up, again, like you said, clear up any confusion and provide resources ahead of early voting on Monday. And now that we can put this out there, then we can focus on early voting next week. So this is great that we're able to do this today. So thank you. And thank you to Adam Fogelman for providing a lot of these responses and for being part of this call today to clarify any questions we may have.
This is very helpful. So I say we shall start with the first one. And if Mr. Poe is on the phone, if he could lead us through these with the questions and the answers, that would be very helpful. And for the ones we don't have answers, then we'll, as a commission, I say we provide those answers and vote on whether those answers are adequate as the answer. Is that what you think, Madam Chair?
I'm having buffering problems. It keeps reloading here. The sharing on Zoom. I just turn off the screen so it's just the audio, because I think that might be the issue.
Yeah. Would you like to go through each? Have Mr. Poe go through each question and we discuss it, and make sure that that's the correct or the best answer, and then go through until we get to the end. And if there's any that are missing, then we come up with what the answer needs to be, so that we have them all filled out.
Yes, we're ready to go today. I like it. Let's do it.
Mr. Poe, could you lead us?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay, so some of these questions are going to have 2 sets of answers because they were answered by either both ourselves in the clerk's office, or by well, they were answered by multiple parties. Let's put it that way. And I'm trying to find the 2 sets that I can have side by side. So if you'll just give me a moment. Okay. Then I will have that. Okay.
Here.
All right. So one of the sets contains both the answers, basically one of the sets contains the answers from the clerk, and the other set contains the answers from everyone else. So I'm just going to go through this real quickly. Once I can locate the correct.
Do we don't have the clerk with us, do we?
The clerk.
I'm having buffering issues. Do you have a representative from the clerk's office on this in this meeting?
I don't know. I know that the clerk said that she sends her regrets that she has a scheduling conflict. She's sitting on a panel and was unable to attend.
That's a shame. We don't have anyone from the clerk's office at this meeting. Even if she couldn't come herself, was there anyone else from the office, a staff member perhaps? And like I said, I'm having problems buffering. I can't look at the participants list right now on my phone here.
Okay.
Madam Chair, Mr. Poe, also just for the public that's viewing this, because I do know there's some public out there that's viewing this for the media, to make sure that it's clear that this legend that's provided in here, these are just suggestions for answers. of who may want to answer these questions. So there's a legend providing EC, Election Commission, CC, County Clerk, CJ is County Judge, and CA is County Attorney. These were just suggested folks that may want to provide an answer on these. These are not required for those to provide an answer. So just want to make sure I clarify that.
Thank you, ma'am, for doing so.
So it's a shame that the clerk.
I'm losing you, Madam Chair.
Okay, let me know. Is that better? Can you hear me again?
Yes.
Okay.
I just
So
have the same provider that I have.
it's a shame that we did not get the clerk's office or representative to attend our meeting today. But go ahead, Mr. Pope. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, ma'am. So the first question is, I requested an absentee ballot, but decided to early vote. Can I drop off my unvoted absentee ballot to a poll worker at the vote site? The clerk's answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
The answer from our office is no. Absentee ballots may not be returned to a poll worker either during early voting or on election day. However, a voter that applied for an absentee ballot will be offered a provisional ballot, and it will be incumbent upon the voter to dispose of the unused absentee ballot.
Okay. I'm good with that answer.
I am too.
Yep. And I like that these are that's clear and concise. It's short and sweet without getting into the weeds too much. So thank you for that, Brian.
Yeah.
Because that's a question I get very often.
Yep, that's good. That's a good one.
Thank you.
Let's see. The second question is, do I have to remove my mask when I show my ID to the election clerk at the poll? And the answer is, per guidance from the State Board of Election Commissioners, election officials may ask you to remove your mask for the purpose of verifying your identity.
I think that needs to be clearer.
Okay.
So we already decided, we as a commission said that you will have to, yes, the answer is not remove your mask, but you will have to lift up your mask or put your mask downward to show who you are. You're not removing the mask. So we need to clarify that answer.
Yeah,
So
you have to show
yeah,
your face. You don't have to take it off.
Yeah, so we can put the per guidance underneath our answer, but the answer needs to say per policy of the Placey County Election Commission, you must either move your mask downward or upward, whatever will reveal your face momentarily, so the poll worker can identify you, and then that sentence can go after that. So we need to clarify that. So it's because I know that's been an issue, but they do not have to completely remove their mask.
Correct. I agree with that.
So what shall we say?
They just need to, they do not have to completely remove their mask, but they need to move their mask in a manner that the poll worker can identify them.
So what do we say? Election officials may ask you to reveal your face for the purpose of verifying your identity.
I like that. And can we say briefly, like
yes, that works.
briefly reveal your face, or momentarily, as Commissioner Starr said, you don't have to take it off for 5 minutes, just quickly. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I agree.
So,
if you're wearing a mask, then you're going to have to take that off.
So just so I know just so that we're putting that I'm putting the correct thing in there. Do we want to say per policy of the election commission, or do we just want to leave it at election officials may ask you to briefly reveal your face for the purpose of verifying your identity?
Per
That works for
policy,
me.
per policy of the Placey County Election Commission, because that is the policy we passed.
It is. I would agree with that.
That way there's no, we don't want to put poll workers in an uncomfortable position, or the workers in an uncomfortable position to where they're being argued about something that they're requiring, because it's not them requiring it.
Yeah.
It's the commission.
Okay, so just to finalize this.
Yeah.
Per policy of the Pulaski County Election Commission, election officials may ask you to briefly reveal your face for the purpose of verifying your identity.
They will ask you,
That's not may. Yeah, it's a mandatory language.
because that creates discretion.
Okay. So per policy of the Pulaski County Election Commission, election officials will ask you to briefly reveal your face for the purposes of verifying your identity.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and everybody's on board with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Commissioner Price,
Price, I didn't
That's
hear
fine. That's fine with me.
thank you.
That's fine with me. Mhm.
This way that doesn't put any kind of onus on to the election worker, and it puts it back on us.
you. Mm-hmm. Agreed. All right, let's move on.
Next one is the news reported that county buildings are still closed. What does that mean for the downtown location? The answer to that is the Pulaski County Regional Building at 501 West Markham is an early vote location and an election day vote center and is open to voters.
I think that needs to be expanded.
Okay.
Who answered this question?
The county attorney.
Okay. So if he doesn't want to expand, I guess the election commission will. It's open to more than voters. It would be open to poll workers.
Madam Commissioner, I believe the county attorney is present on this call.
Okay, great. So I guess I will open the question to him, because we have a lot of media watching this right now who we have to publish a notice, and we have not done so. So we're going to have to, and Madam Chair,
Yes.
with other business, we have to publish a notice of what time we are going to start the absentee of the outer envelope on Monday morning. So that's a piece that we have not done.
Madam Commissioner, if I may.
Yes.
That was published as part of the notice of election. The first publication was last Sunday on October 11th, and there's going to be another publication this Sunday on October 18th.
And what time did we say we're doing the canvas, the big first part of the absentee canvassing?
8:30.
And we approved that?
That was part of the notes of election, yes.
Well, can we reaffirm that? And
I have to go back to that. Okay.
okay.
So anyway, going back to that, the public viewing and the media, with that statement right there regarding voters, that leaves them out.
Can we say open to the public?
This is Adam, by the way. My understanding of the structure of the FAQ was from a voter standpoint, as you indicated earlier. So the answers are directed at voters.
It's not just for the voters, it's for the public.
Okay, the county regional building is open to voters. Obviously, poll workers will be present. You'll see below that poll watchers that are authorized by statute obviously are permitted. The opening of and canvassing of the outer envelope, my understanding, will be live streamed digitally, as are other meetings and the conduct of the election. Not the not the casting of ballots, but the canvassing.
So just so that I'm very clear, the media is being forbidden from coming into the early vote site, into the absentee room per the executive order of the governor during the canvassing.
I believe the General Assembly has adopted guidance. Where are you specifically addressing?
Which location? I'm specifically addressing during the absentee canvassing of the outer envelope, and then again on election day for the inner envelope.
I'm not certain what arrangement, where that will take place, or the details of how that will be facilitated. But as with all election commission meetings, if video is requested, a pool reporter will be permitted to take that video. And it's my understanding it will also be live streamed.
So did I hear that the absentee ballot canvassing is
I lost you, Madam Chair.
did anyone hear what I just said?
No, ma'am.
No, okay.
No, I did not.
Did I hear Mr. Fogelman say that our absentee canvassing is not going to be open?
I did not say that it will not be open. It will be available for monitoring by live stream.
Hello? Oh, hello?
I'm here. Can you hear me, Madam Chair? Madam Chair, can you hear me? Commissioner Price?
I can hear you. Commissioner Starr can hear you.
Commissioner
Madam
Starr,
Chair.
it looks like Commissioner Gomez has dropped off, so I'm watching for her to see if she's trying to re-enter.
And these are the kind of issues that are making virtual meetings impossible.
I'm continuing to monitor, but I don't see that she's back in the waiting room just yet. But as soon as I see her pop in, I will be admitting her.
Thank you, Jody.
Okay, it looks like that we have also Commissioner Price has dropped off, so I'll be watching for both of them as they try to re-enter.
Brian, point of order, can I call a recess due to them not being
Commissioner Price is now
physically?
back.
Okay, great.
Commissioner Price, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm beginning to think we all have the same provider for internet service.
It's either AT&T or Comcast.
AT&T. At least my phone is Verizon, so I'm covered.
Just to be clear, we currently have Commissioner Price, Commissioner Starr, we have Mr. Poe, Miss Betty Green, myself, and Mr. Fogelman are currently in the meeting. I have someone just identified as KM in the waiting room with just a phone number. Is anybody expecting an additional person?
There might have been some invites sent out to the clerk's office.
Okay, I just want to let everybody know I'm going to let this person in so we can identify them. I don't know that I should give the phone number since we're on a public discourse here. I'm not sure if that's appropriate.
If you could text it to me, I could probably identify the person if they're supposed to be here.
Okay, I'll send it. Hold on a second. Let me get my phone. My work. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. I think
That's Commissioner Gomez.
Okay, Commissioner Gomez, I am sorry.
That's me.
I'm sorry.
I was just texting you, Jody.
We were just talking about that. I only saw the number and I didn't want to have an incident like we did the other night.
I understand
Or
that.
during the ballot draw. There you go. Okay, good deal. Thank you for your
Yes.
patience.
Zoom, as I said in my text to you, I'm trying to get you to like, hey, this is me. Zoom just went kaput, and so I'm calling in over the phone line. Hopefully,
Okay, I've got good audio here as long as everyone else can hear you. I think we'll be good.
Okay.
Commissioner, Madam Chair, could you say what you said earlier that none of us could hear?
So did I hear, and it was buffering, and I don't think I heard all of Mr. Fogelman's response or all of what Commissioner Starr was saying, but did I hear that our absentee ballot canvassing will not be open for the public?
No, I believe if that was what you heard, then it was misheard. What I indicated was that absentee ballot canvassing will be available for observation through live stream.
Okay. And why can it not be available in person?
Because there is a global pandemic going on.
I guess there's a better question, a way of asking, Madam Chair, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
We're the only one of 75 counties that is forbidding the public from interacting in the election process. I called the Association of Counties and asked for some advice on, how are other counties doing these things? I just want to make sure that we're all working together and come up with some solutions and try to, get some ideas from how other counties are doing it. But no other counties are doing it. We're the only county. So that makes it really kind of complicated if we're the only county that's doing these things. They're not preventing, they're not preventing candidates from participating in their ballot draws. They're not preventing the media from coming to meetings. They're not preventing the public from participating inside their meetings, which is also a really big issue, because by us not having participation in these meetings, we've actually have another legal issue. So that's something else we have to look at going forward, and that's going to have to change immediately. So the governor's executive order was very clear that it had to be open, that we could not prevent media from being present physically. And I understand there's a conflict here, because also in the law, the county judge has the authority to over his buildings, but we also have a federal election. So this is kind of an issue, and I'm just kind of, hoping that this would not come to this issue, that we can still maintain social distancing with the public. That was part of the governor's order, that, we maintain distancing, we make sure that people are, kept safe and apart. But we're not given that option at all. And I'm pretty sure the media would like to have their representatives here, because we're looking at this right now. We can't even keep folks on the calls. So when we had our in-person meeting the other day, we didn't even have the proper equipment for us to have a meeting. We had to speak into a laptop that was 12 feet away, with no speakers, no microphones, nothing. So how are we going to conduct a live stream meeting every single day for hours on hours of the day if we don't have the equipment? And this is Monday. This is 3 days away. I mean, respectfully, and I mean this in complete respect. How are we going to do this and be able to do this effectively from every angle? And we're canvassing is, I mean, you're talking about 30,000 ballots.
And Mr. Poe, just before anyone answers that, Mr. Poe, how many poll workers do we have for our absentee canvassing? We have several, right? What's our current number there that we have assigned for absentee ballot canvassing?
Over 80.
Okay.
So how many cameras do we have set up to do live streaming?
We're going to set up one in each of the major, or in each of the primary canvassing areas, so at least 4.
So we're going to have 4 cameras in each room, or overall?
A minimum of 4.
Where?
There are 4 major canvassing areas where all the ballots will be canvassed.
So how many workers per room?
20.
20 workers per room.
1 camera per 20, roughly?
1 per room, yes.
1 camera per 20 workers to live stream. Do we think that that's truly fair and transparent to the public in such a highly scrutinized election?
No.
I mean, I'm asking Mr. Vogelman, I mean, genuinely, I mean, do we think that that's enough? Are we doing a service to the public?
What would you suggest?
I would suggest we follow the executive order that the governor issued. And allow the media in.
We can still live stream.
We can do both, but we should do both.
We should do both. We should, absolutely.
Mr. Price, I would like to hear from you. Have we lost Commissioner Price?
My job is to advise you on the legality of operations. And I've reviewed the governor's executive order. In fact, I'm looking at it right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm aware of it. And I'm also aware of the the adopted COVID-19 response plan that's been promulgated by your staff and adopted by this body. And that in coordination with the safeguards that have been put in place are legal.
Mr. Poe, I have a question.
Yes.
We're still a couple weeks out. So is there any room in the budget to purchase some of this additional equipment, cameras, speakers, and whatnot, just to make the virtual experience a little bit more successful for the public for their viewing?
We could absolutely increase the number of cameras if need be.
Okay. Jody, I know you're the tech guy. Is there a list that you could put together of some things you could possibly purchase, just to, again, make that experience better for the participants who may be engaging virtually?
The equipment won't be the problem. At this point, I would need some kind of support to help, because with early voting starting, I have to stay on call and go to each of the locations if anybody has technical trouble, whether it be an internet connection or trouble with any of the equipment itself. So I would be concerned, I don't have a television studio at my disposal, I guess, and to have, multiple cameras and everything, we can certainly put something together that would work. But, that's something I can't tell you just right here on the spot what it would take to do if we started adding multiple, more than what we have now. I mean, it's definitely something we can do. But
right.
I'm concerned from a support, just from a staffing issue. We have myself and Amanda are on the go quite a bit over the next 2 weeks when we start.
Just so you know, we can also receive support from county IT for this particular purpose.
Okay.
That would be a very good idea.
Well, I mean, if we could set up an additional camera per room, maybe, and then you have got at least 2 different angles, just like when the Quorum Court broadcast, there's live, you have 2 different angles. Maybe that's something we could look into, and that would help kind of increase that transparency that Commissioner Starr was talking about, to make sure that anyone that's viewing remotely has a better, point of view of what's going on in that room.
I'd like to go back, Madam Chair, to our attorneys, because he is giving us legal advice, to the statement regarding our COVID mitigation plan, not a policy, but our plan, and that those are promulgated rules. When I hear promulgated rules, I think of something very differently. I think promulgation goes through an incredibly long process. It takes quite a lot. You have to go through public hearings and things like that. But if it is our own plan that's holding us back, then I say that we have a meeting and discuss our plan and what pieces of our plan is causing this issue. So I would like to ask Mr. Fogelman, what is in our plan that's preventing us from having the media come in to this to the canvassing? Because if we've created this issue, or the staff created this issue and then we voted on it, I would like to know what it is, because I don't want us to be the barrier.
Yes, I probably you, but I just wanted to ask, what are you all doing for your FCP canvassing?
I'm sorry. Who's
Did that make sense?
Executive orders that are in place, both the governors and the county judges, and the plan that you've adopted, working in concert, ensure transparency, which is very, very good, and all the access that is required by law is satisfied by the way that you're proceeding. And forgive me, I am going to have to leave this meeting shortly. I understand that y'all still have some FAQs to get through, but I made additional plans tonight, did not anticipate that this meeting would run more than 45 minutes to get through those FAQs.
Okay, so what was the answer to what is holding up the public being able to access this like they do in all of the other 75 counties?
Misstatement of the facts. The public is able to access and participate digitally by live stream. In fact, that is encouraged by the governor's executive order, and the media, should they request to have personnel present to video, may do so by a poll reporter.
So, okay, so they can have reporters here, or are we still limited to one?
That would be a poll reporter. A poll reporter is a reporter designated by the media in the area to serve all of the media in the area, and then to share any footage or notes, should they desire notes, but to share footage across all the media, which again, it's available directly through the live stream.
Thank you.
Okay, so for this question, can we amend that to say open to voters, and then comma, whoever else, one pool reporter, et cetera, just to clarify? Brian?
It's not okay to turn the public away that's available, that has a right to be there.
So again, Madam Chair, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
It's not okay to turn the public away who have a right to be present.
So if I may, how many public are we expecting to attend?
I don't have an answer for you. I know historically, not that many, if you go by historically who's shown up. However, you still have a right to be in attendance.
But do you have to be physically in the building, or can you just be where you can observe the process? I'm just curious. I'm just kind of trying to figure out what we're shooting for here.
Are we turning people away from the public who have the right to participate in the like the poll watchers?
No, the poll watchers. The poll watchers will of course.
You can't tell them they have to be there virtually.
The poll watchers perform a statutory function.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it is our duty to do the best we can to protect these folks who have volunteered to work in this process. So I'm just trying to figure out how we can best protect them while at the same time upholding our duties to others.
Well, that's admirable.
Every person that is authorized to participate in the process is authorized to be present for the process. But those who are authorized to observe may do so by live stream.
Or for that matter, I mean, the actual process itself is fully viewable without necessarily having to be in the building. So I'm just not understanding what we're trying to do here. Because, I would point out that, these poll workers are folks who volunteered to do so because they did not want to work at the polls and be exposed to a large, essentially unnecessarily.
Because, Brian, you're requiring someone to have internet connectivity to participate in the election process. So someone has to be,
to observe
someone
the
has to have,
process?
you're requiring the public to have internet connectivity to come to a meeting. You're requiring an extra step. That's the point. It's going above and beyond.
That's something that's been authorized by the legislature.
That was something that was temporarily authorized for meetings that's outside the scope of the election.
Yeah, no,
Is that what
it
it
wasn't
said?
changed. Election rules were not changed. Election access was not changed.
So when you start
Well,
getting into, especially here, especially when we get into, and there's some questions going down the list, but when you start getting into, helping your parent, go over to, vote, or when you get into those that may have to come because of provisional pieces to the meetings, but they need someone to take them to the meeting. They're not the voter. So you have other circumstances, and that's not covered. So there's other pieces to this that we're not really looking at. And yeah, access virtually does not cover any of those things. So we have to think beyond the whole, there's weighing the public safety, but there's also weighing people's right to interact and participate.
But once again, observing, you're not interacting and participating. You're just observing, and you don't have to be physically present to observe. And furthermore, I would say that you can be physically present and observe without being physically in the building.
You can or can't be. I didn't catch that.
You can.
C-A-N or C-A-N-T?
You can. In the affirmative, it is possible.
One camera for 20 people? That's a tough observation.
Well, there are also windows that people can easily see through. I guess that's what I'm getting at. So that's what I'm just trying to figure out what level of observation, meets that standard that y'all are shooting for.
So we want people peering through windows to be able to participate or to view processes.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what viewing is. If you can see people as they're performing the functions, is that not viewing them? Is that not observing them? Do they have to physically be in the room to do that? That's just what I'm trying to get. That's what I'm trying to understand.
That is part of it. Just being able to see and not hear that's part of it.
If I may interject, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I don't want us to get hung up on this question. I know it's important, but it seems like there are opposing points of view and also some additional clarification that is probably needed on this. So I guess my question to you, Brian Poe, and then Adam, if you're still on the call, is this something we could ask for additional guidance from the State Board of Election Commissioners, or
Yes.
who else can we ask for some further clarification?
We need to go to the State Board.
Because I don't feel like this is something that we're going to get decided. I don't feel like this is something we're going to get decided in this meeting, like right now.
No.
And in the interest of time, I want us to be able to cover all the other questions.
I agree.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Thank you.
I knew that would be a hard one. Thank you, Commissioner Price.
Okay. So that was a question 4? Is that where we were? We were on question 3.
3.
It was on question 3.
Okay.
That was the hard, I put the hardest one. at the
So
top.
maybe as we go through these questions, I
By
was
level
thinking
of
maybe as we go
difficulty,
through
we
these
should have gone
questions,
through
if we can, yeah, if we can't come up with if we can't, easily agree on it, I think we just go ahead and flag that one to ask the State Board of Election Commissioners for further guidance.
At the same time,
So then we can kind of expedite the process.
the election's Monday, and
Sure.
voters deserve an answer, and the is also waiting on an answer for this. So this isn't like something that we can just keep holding off. We've been trying to get these answers for quite a while, and we weren't expecting the county building closure to be extended through the election because this is not occurring in other counties. So this was kind of a surprise.
Madam Commissioner, if I may.
Yes.
No, you may not. Let her finish.
I was finished.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know that statement is exactly accurate because I have talked to other coordinators and they've expressed to me that they also intend to live stream their canvassing process. And
Are they
you can
live streaming and not allowing people in the building at the same time?
live stream and allowing only the people who are statutorily required, such as poll watchers. And you can, and I'll check with Daniel at the State Board, but I believe that he's had similar communications as well. But I just wanted to let y'all know that.
Well, the information that I got came directly from the Arkansas Association of Counties, and the question that I asked was, out of what of the 75 counties are the county buildings closed during election day or during early voting? And the answer was none of them are closed during early voting or election day.
And
the buildings are directly affected during early voting. I did not speak to canvassing. That was not my statement. I didn't ask them about canvassing.
Okay, but what we're talking about now is canvassing.
Yeah, but that's
And
not what
I
I'm
was
thinking about.
just making you all aware that there are other counties that are planning a similar process to what we're planning on implementing here.
I think that
I'm sorry, excuse me. We
go ahead.
Brian, is not the commission. The commission is Commissioner Price, Commissioner Starr, and the chair. We did not make that decision. So can we go on, Madam Chair?
Yes, let's do
Thank
that.
you.
We'll get guidance from the State Board, and I'm sure we will revisit this. We'll go ahead and move on to number 4.
I don't want a poll worker watch or touching my ID. What can I do? Answer. Poll workers will ask you to place your ID on the table so they may examine it. Poll workers have been instructed not to touch a voter's ID.
Now, this is different than what we were told in a previous meeting. In the previous meeting, we were told that poll workers would be trained, that they would not, that the voter would hold on to their ID and show their ID. So this has changed. So is this how they're being trained now, that they're supposed to place their, and for the purpose, the reason they weren't putting their ID down is for sanitation reasons.
Yeah, so no one's touching it.
So they're not putting it on a dirty table. So now they're placing their ID down on a table.
That I believe that's what I
Who answered
believe
this
that's what we
question?
talked about, but maybe I'm wrong.
Who answered this question?
I answered the question.
Okay. I mean, that would be opposite of what was previously discussed on the poll worker training guidance that you provided the commission. That would, I mean, if we're going through all these steps to sanitize everything, why would we want them to place their ID on a table?
But respectfully, as long as the table is wiped afterwards, I just think about how I went through a drive-through earlier today, and when I gave them my debit card, they asked me to put it in a little tray, and then they ran it and then gave it back to me, and then they held the tray out again, and then I took my food out of the tray, so that I was never actually touching anything hand to hand with them. And then I'm assuming that they're sanitizing that tray in between uses. So would we not do something similar in that situation, Brian?
It'd be more efficient to hold. I guess that what I'm saying is that originally the idea was the voter was holding their ID. And one thing that I've been telling people is that no poll worker is going to touch your ID. Voter was holding their ID, showing their ID. The poll worker looks the ID, but they never let go of their own ID. And so that prevents, one, the poll worker from touching the ID, two, the voter from placing their ID down on a table, and three, from the poll workers constantly having to clean the table every time something's laid down. So did that change?
I don't recall that being explicitly, because like what I'm looking at the COVID mitigation plan is it just says the poll workers will not touch the voter's ID. I don't remember it explicitly being that the voter would hold on to it.
It was during the discussion
about it.
poll worker training.
We discussed it.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't remember that discussion.
So they're placing the ID on the table. So are they cleaning like Commissioner Price said, or they sanitizing the table after? And then also, I guess they need to sanitize their ID after.
The table will be sanitized, yes.
Okay. So we need to add then that the table will be sanitized between.
Between uses. Okay.
Okay, so what's our answer for that again? Let's go through that. What do you have, Mr. Poe?
Okay, poll workers will ask you to place your ID on the table so they may examine it. Poll workers have been instructed not to touch a voter's ID. The table will be sanitized between uses.
Sounds good to me.
I don't want to. I'll have a concern. So if somebody holds out their ID versus putting it on the table, I don't want that to be an issue.
Brian, have to put their ID on the table, or are they allowed to just hold it in front of the poll worker?
Yeah, poll worker. If you say poll worker will not touch your ID, that's good. But I don't want to say you have to put it on the table, because you might be able to just hold it up for someone to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just says that they will ask you. It doesn't necessarily say that you have to. Like amongst other things, what they're trained on is, if somebody is not to escalate a situation. So if somebody wants to hold their ID, then they're not going to continuously tell you to put it on the table, or they shouldn't.
Well, yeah.
As long as it's observed.
What if we just delete the first sentence and say poll workers have been instructed not to touch a voter's ID?
Yes.
And whether that means holding it out or putting it on a table or whatever, that's up to your discretion. I just think about like if, in the times that I've been asked to show my ID, sometimes I take it out of my wallet. Sometimes I just open it and I've got a clear portion on my wallet. And depending on who asks, sometimes they just look at it that way. So we can't prepare for every eventuality as how the ID will be read. So why don't we just say poll workers have been instructed not to touch a voter's ID, and we'll be sanitizing spaces between users or whatever.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Excellent. I believe Mr. Daniel Schultz from the State Board of Election Commissioners has joined us.
Oh, great.
He has. Hello, Pulaski County.
Hey, Daniel.
Hi, Mr. Schultz. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
So
Dan.
happy to do it. Sorry, I was driving. It took me a while to figure out how to get in on the Zoom, but what can I do for you?
Well, hey, we have some from the State Board. Shall we, do you want us to continue on, or should we go ahead and go with our little problem that we had, Commissioners?
I would like to go back to our issue that we had previously.
Let's do that.
We're doing our FAQs that I created some FAQs kind of from a voter and a public perspective. And as you know, the county buildings are closed through this election, but our site, our election commission site, is the early vote site. It's also the vote center site. It's also the canvassing site. It's also where we hold our election meetings. It's also where all the election equipment comes in. There's just a lot of stuff going on there. So one of the
Sure.
FAQs I created is scrolling. The news reported that the county buildings are still closed. What does that mean for the downtown location? And I presented the question for the county attorney and the county judge. And the response from the county attorney was the Placey County Regional Building at 501 West Markham is an early vote location, election day vote center, and is open to voters. And it stops there. So basically, it is not going to be allowable to be open to the public or to media, only to poll watchers with their authorized form, but the media, other than one poll reporter, is not allowed during canvassing. And the setup that's allowed, or that's not allowed, I'm sorry, and that they have currently is there's 4 rooms with 20 absentee workers per room. And I think there's about 22,000 absentees have been approved so far. 20 absentee workers for 4 rooms. There's 1 camera per room to be live streamed. And that's the setup.
Okay. And I take it the question is that workable?
The question is yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So obviously the law, the meeting is open to the public. Now we've obviously dealt with this as the public health restrictions have made that more complicated, and sometimes live streaming works. Obviously, for poll watchers, they have to be there. They have to be able to be in proximity to the process where they can see it, hear it, and make a timely objection pursuant to the authority granted to a poll watcher. My thinking that if you're not going to allow, obviously you can't just allow every single person of the public access to those rooms. There isn't capacity.
Right.
There needs to be meaningful public access. I don't hold myself up to be an expert on the Freedom of Information Act, and these are complicated issues, but that do need to be open to the public. The live stream is a good step. I think that's important, probably necessary under the circumstances. My thinking is personally that the media being present is something that is another good step that will allow to be the eyes and the ears of the public. Again, I can't. These are complicated issues. Certainly, the poll watchers have to be there in person. I think it needs to be open to the public in some meaningful way. The law requires that. I don't know that that's helpful. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I mean, and I guess that's kind of our issue right now is that to me the media needs to be present. So I understand that we're kind of We can't really open up to the doors to the public. The public's more than welcome to try to become poll watchers to be able to get in. But the media, it really can't take that stance. They can't just become poll watchers because that puts them in a kind of a bad light, because they're going to have to, join a candidate or a party, sign up for the party or candidate to do that. But they need to be present. They are the eyes and the ears. And while having live stream is great and all, it is just not ideal. It's not going to provide, it's just simply not going to provide every angle. And having one poll reporter, they simply cannot get all those angles and be in every room. So I don't see how that's feasible. So I would recommend having the media present.
Yeah, that's my recommendation as well.
And all transparency. And to be
Daniel,
in line
did you have
with
anything else to add?
Again, I think the most open and transparent that is possible is best. I haven't been in these rooms. I can't speak to the specific situations. I'm just not sufficiently versed in what is possible. But obviously, the poll watchers have to be there. The law clearly requires that. There's no way that can be made remote. I can't tell the county how it needs to comply in this case definitively, but the more open, the better. Is certainly the position, as the law does require it to be open to the public.
Right.
Okay, I have a suggestion, if I may.
Go ahead.
What if we say the Pulaski County Regional Building at 501 West Markham is an early vote location and an election day vote center, and is open to voters, poll watchers, limited media and public based on the capacity of the rooms, and while following safety protocols and guidelines, however you want to word that, period, and then say the canvassing process or will also be live streamed for the general public.
Well, I absolutely agree
because as
with
Daniel
you,
said,
Mr. Pryor.
based on the size of the room.
From my understanding,
ahead,
we're not
sorry.
allowed to do that. From my understanding, we're being prohibited from doing that. And I don't know if Adam is
Well, when
still
I was-
on. Unless we are allowed to do that.
Well, I was thinking to Daniel's point, based on the size of the room, obviously, you may have more space and you can allow members in of the media, depending on the size of the room. But, I'm not saying like 10 media will show up, but like, what if they did? Like, obviously you couldn't let everybody in, right?
Right.
So is there a way that we can kind of just word this in a way that it's going to be based on the size of the room, and we're going to continue to follow the safety guidelines, as given to us by both the state and the county.
I agree. I just don't know if we're allowed to do that because the county judge's order prohibits it. That's the part that I'm confused by.
Although,
Well, I think that's where that pool reporter comes in.
If we go back to the county judge's executive order, I believe essential functions are at the very end of the last paragraph or so that talks about essential functions. And this would be an essential function. So I say it's open.
Okay. I'm good with that. We need to make sure, and we'll have to come back to that wording here in a little bit, but that wording needs to be very clear that poll watchers, no matter what, are in the room. Poll watchers are there. You can't prevent poll watchers. However, for the media, since this is kind of a special exception, that they need to maintain social distancing.
For,
Well, to be fair, poll watchers would also need to maintain social distancing.
I-
and that-
I
Yeah.
understand, but we
Everyone.
also can't prevent them.
So can we say open to voters, poll watchers, and limited media and public access based on size of the room and in compliance with COVID-19 protocols? Something to that effect.
Yes.
And then also
I think-
mention that it will also be live streamed for public access.
say additionally, beyond what we just said, additionally, comma, it'll be live streamed. And if we have the link, we can stick the link right there in our FAQs. For anyone who looks at it, they can just click at it on it.
Hey, I'm sorry, y'all. I had dropped off there for a second, so if you directed something at me, I missed it. But when I last was here listening, what y'all were saying made sense to me.
Okay, good.
Great.
Good,
Thank you.
good
Thank
deal.
you, Mr. Schultz.
I'm
And
starting to
we
think there's something
appreciate
wrong
your
with Zoom.
last minute. Go ahead, Star.
Sorry, I'm starting to think there's something wrong with the Zoom right now.
But it was my fault. I dropped off, so I corrected
Okay.
that. I just wanted to let you know if you were talking to me and I wasn't talking back.
Well, we weren't talking to you then.
Okay, so just real quick on that wording, Commissioner Price,
Mhm.
could you please repeat that?
Yes, so where it says open to voters, I had open to voters, comma, poll watchers, open to voters and poll watchers, and limited media and public access based on the size of the room and in compliance with COVID-19 protocols. COVID-19 safety protocols, maybe? However you want to word it.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in the chat also. And then second sentence, you could also say election processes will also be live streamed for public viewing.
Be careful with putting things in the chat if they can't be seen on YouTube.
I think it can it?
I couldn't see the full chat.
Okay. Well, I'm reading it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So
what was the second sentence?
Election processes will also be live streamed for public viewing.
Do we have microphones that we could attach to every single absentee worker?
Microphones? Not that many, no.
How many do we have?
We have a handful.
So how many is a handful?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Um,
Fewer than 10.
less than, fewer than 10? More than 5? More than 4?
Fewer than 10. That's that I can feel pretty confident in.
Okay. Do we have at least 4 of them? Do you know that?
I'm sorry, I don't.
I can answer as far as from a technical, we have at least 4 microphones, but they're tabletop microphones that we got for individual use, like to set in front of you while we maybe even in a situation like this. I don't know, I can't reliably tell you how they would act if you set them on a table.
Okay.
The webcams do have microphones built into them, so they would be able to pick up, sound.
Okay. Commissioner Starr, I heard from quite a bit from Price. Was there anything else with number 3 we want to hash out?
I'm good.
No, but I already know how I want the next one to be.
Okay. Well, and Mr. Schultz, I know you were not planning to spend your Friday evening with us, but if you can remain on the line and stay with us, we would appreciate it, if that's a possibility.
Well, my
Or you can perhaps just be available if we need you. We can buzz you back.
that might be the best plan. As my higher authority is probably going to insist my attendance at dinner here momentarily. I mean, if you need me, obviously I'll stay, but I can certainly jump back on if something comes up.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you, Daniel.
Good deal.
Appreciate you.
We love the state board.
Thank you.
You guys rock. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, if you don't mind, if I could continue on with the other questions.
Go ahead.
For
yes, please move on.
For timeliness. The next one is, are voters required to wear a mask? I'm not sure who answered this, but I already know I want it changed. It says no, voters are not required. First of all, it's a double negative, so it just say voters are not required to wear masks to vote. Well, that's also doesn't need to say vote and voters, but voters are not required to wear masks, period. It should say, however, it is strongly encouraged, period, and nothing else. That last part of it is a very judgy thing, and we don't know if someone has a serious health issue and they can't wear a mask, and we don't want to make them feel bad about it. So it just needs to say voters are not required to wear masks. And then the next sentence, it is, however, strongly encouraged by the commission. To please wear
I
masks.
agree. I agree with you, Commissioner Starr. I would like to add, if I may, it is strongly encouraged, and masks will be available.
Yes.
At the door or whatever.
Perfect.
Just they know that we do have those available for them.
Yeah, we can say it is, however, strongly encouraged, and masks will be how do you want to say that? And masks will be and masks will be available from election staff, or
maybe just made available. What masks will be made available?
At your request, or at how are they made available, Brian? Are they like sitting up front, or is there somebody bringing them around?
They're offered at the front door.
Oh,
whenever
say
you
that.
pick up the stylus in your pen, if you want a mask, you can have a mask.
Okay.
Well, then say that.
Yeah. Perfect.
Masks will be made available at the entry.
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right.
On entry.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. We could also add a line, if you lose your mask or your mask breaks, we will replace your mask for you. We could add something like that.
Do we need that? I don't know if it's necessary.
Okay. Well, I hate for it to yeah, masks are available. Okay.
I think that would cover that. They would still be available if you break the mask. Yeah.
All right. The next one, do you have that, Brian?
Let's see. I am planning on attending the canvassing of absentee ballots as a poll watcher. Is this allowed? Yes, qualified poll watchers are permitted to be present for the canvassing of absentee ballots.
How about you just say yes?
You skipped something, but I was actually
I'm sorry. I missed it.
Brian, I was going to be the one reading. I was just asking if you had that if you had everything you needed for the wear mask.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, voters are not required to wear a mask. However, it is strongly encouraged. Masks will be made available upon entry.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'll continue onward. The county executive order states all persons entering a county building must wear a mask, but I have a health condition. Does that apply to me? So this should simply state this requirement does not apply to voters.
Yep.
Masks are strongly encouraged. C, do you want to say C previous? Or just leave it at that?
Just leave it at that.
Yeah, just leave it at that. Because if somebody copy pastes it, then they're in a different order or something, that it may be out of order, and then it would be out of context.
Okay.
It would.
So this requirement does not apply to voters.
Yep.
Masks are strongly encouraged. Okay.
Perfect.
The next one is I'm planning on attending the canvassing of absentee ballots as a poll watcher. Is this allowed? Yes.
Yes.
Qualified poll. Who wrote this one?
County attorney.
Yes. Qualified poll watchers are permitted to be present to the canvassing of absentee ballots. I'm fine with that. Everyone fine with that?
I'm good.
Do you need to have the additional information besides just yes? Because if you are a poll watcher, that means you have already gotten your form and filed with the clerk. So do you need that additional information? If you're a poll,
Well, I think that's why he put qualified.
Okay.
Qualified poll watchers are permitted.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a self-professed poll watcher that didn't follow the steps, is what you're.
Yeah,
You might want to say qualified poll watchers with the proper paperwork. Maybe are permitted to be present.
If I may,
Sure.
Yes.
I would say that this wording is pretty good, because not necessarily for the absentee process, but we often on election day have to turn people away who basically assert that they're poll watchers, but really all they're looking to do is look at the count on the machine. So
Right.
I think the qualified poll watchers language covers it pretty well.
Okay. I'm fine with it.
Okay. Yeah. Move on. All right, Star. Let's keep going.
What room?
I like it.
What room is the election night meeting? Can the public observe? Jeffrey Hawkins meeting room would be the location of the election night meeting at the Pulaski County Board of Election Commissioners. The public may observe the meeting by live stream. So we need to fix this one. First of all,
I would copy some of the language from the other question that we already changed.
That
Mhm.
first sentence
Agreed.
I would change because it's really long and it sounds like an attorney wrote it. And I'm just being facetious because I like to write really long sentences too. But I would just say that the room will be held in the Jeffrey Hawkins. The meeting will be held in the Jeffrey Hawkins room on election night. And then I would say I would use the exact same language from previous. Brian.
Yep. Which language were we talking about?
Regarding who can or closed issue. I would just use the language.
Yeah, limited media and public access based on the size of the room and in compliance with, with COVID-19 safety protocols, and then election processes will also be live streamed for public viewing. Just copy paste that same information.
Okay. Let's see where.
Sorry, I didn't number these.
Jeffrey Hawkins meeting room will be the location of the election night meeting.
I would just put the meeting will be held in the Jeffrey Hawkins room. Make it short, since the other one will be longer. I do really appreciate everyone answering these questions, though. I truly thought we were going
to the Jeffrey Hawkins room.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah, the meeting will be held in the Jeffrey Hawkins room. Period.
Okay. And then I got is open to voters, poll watchers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
It is.
Well, the question is, can the public observe? I don't know that.
So
Do we need to say voters and poll
I
watchers
would
again?
say yes, however, and then define what that means by saying those exact things that we defined above.
The media, yes, however, media and public access will be limited based on the size of the room and in compliance with COVID-19 safety protocols. And then say it will also be available or also be live streamed for public viewing.
I would say yes, however, the public may observe the meeting by live stream. And then I would say the rest by however they may do it. So exactly what was said above.
Okay. I'm good with
Yes,
that.
however, media and public access based on the size of room and, I'm sorry. Like, I'm just trying to, oh. The meeting will be live streamed for public viewing.
It'd be great if this could be typed and live at the same time.
The meeting will
You
be
saying
held.
share the screen?
Okay, so like the meeting will be held in the Jeffrey Hawkins room. Yes, however, media and public access based on the size of the room and based on COVID-19 protocols. Like that's what I'm not clear on what that sentence is supposed to be.
The public may observe the meeting by live stream. Poll watchers may be present for the meeting, and the media may be present. However, that's worded in the previous statement. I don't remember exactly the wording. Josh, you want to type it out again? I mean, Commissioner Price.
Yeah, Brian, I've got it in the chat if you can still see it.
Okay, let me look at the chat.
The public may observe the meeting by live stream, comma, and I mean, you'll have to reword it a little bit, but
I would type it, but I'm afraid it would push me off of my call.
The public may observe the meeting via live stream, and qualified poll watchers and limited media may be admitted, and then go into COVID-19
in
protocol
compliance.
language.
Yeah, exactly. Because we know the size of that room, so we don't have to say based on the size of the room, but in compliance with COVID-19 safety protocols.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Commissioner Starr, I can copy and paste these out of the chat into the comments on the YouTube channel, and people could see them if you think that would be a good idea.
That would be good. Yes, thank you.
I'll do that.
Just for transparency, thanks.
Jody to the rescue yet again. Thank you, Jody.
Out of the box thinker. How long does the election commission have to count absentees? How long does the election commission have to count the absentees? Arkansas law intends for absentee ballots to be counted prior to the closing of polls on election day. However, counting may continue until the count is complete. What? Hold on a second. I don't think that's worded correctly.
That's awkward.
Arkansas allows for absentee ballots to be counted prior to the closing of polls on election day. Not intends. Arkansas law allows ballots to be counted beginning at 8:30 a.m. on election day. That's how that should be worded. However, counting may continue until completed. That's how that should be worded. the law never intended, the law doesn't intend anyway, because it's not a person. Can we change it to say, if everyone agrees, Arkansas law allows for absentee ballots to be counted beginning at 8:30 a.m. on election day, and counting will continue until complete.
I like it. That works for me.
Yes.
Thank you. Short and sweet.
Yes, no howevers needed. I like howevers too, but not needed here. Do you need me to repeat that, Brian?
Got it.
All right, great.
Arkansas law allows for absentee ballots to be counted at 8:30 a.m. on election day, and counting will continue until complete.
Yep. Which I'm assuming will be until the next day. When will they start opening absentees? Will this be live streamed? So this needs to be worded a little bit differently. The outer envelope of the absentee ballots will be opened beginning on October 19th, 2020. So we need to separate those two things.
I agree.
Yes.
And then, yeah. And it will be live streamed. We just already answered the second part, which is the actual counting, which is on the 8:30 a.m. election day.
Yeah. Brian, you can just copy paste that same language.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the outer envelope of the absentee ballots will be open beginning at 8:30 a.m. on October 19th.
Yes. And we can go ahead and say it, the whole thing. The outer envelope of the absentee ballot, only the outer envelope of the absentee ballot will be opened beginning October 19th at 8:30 a.m. and on November 3rd, and I'm sorry, and not until 8:30 a.m. on election day will the inner envelope be opened and counted.
Inner envelope opened and the ballot counted.
Sorry, what did you say?
I wanted to see if we could add the word ballot.
Yes.
The inner envelope is opened and the ballot is counted, just to clarify.
Yes. I would like to, I don't know, in parentheses say the inner envelope, maybe in parentheses, the ballot. Because we all know that you have the outer envelope and then you have the inner envelope where the ballot is, but the everyday voter may not know and that process, and not understand that there's two envelopes for an absentee ballot.
And add per Arkansas law at the end.
Yes.
Then why we're not opening that one until the election day. Actually say per executive order and Arkansas law. We want to be really specific.
Yes.
And it says, will this be live streamed? The second answer should be, well, it just says, will this be live streamed? Yes. No.
Yes, it will be live streamed.
Yes.
Yes, it will be live streamed.
Yes.
Or yes, this process will be live streamed.
Are you ready?
The outer envelope.
Go ahead.
I would just say that only the outer envelope of the absentee ballots will be opened beginning at 8:30 a.m. October 19th, 2020. And not until Election Day will the inner envelope be opened and ballot counted per executive order in Arkansas law. Yes, it will be live streamed.
Sounds good. The state
Yep.
order, I'm sorry, the state order requires notice of canvassing. When will this be published and where? The notice was published in the Arkansas Democrat Gazette on October 11th, 2020, and again October 18th, 2020. Okay.
I don't know if I have anything else to add. We can
We need to add the
also
link.
put it on our website.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also on our website.
If the commission is required to have public meetings, why can't the public interact live? I have to say this answer is not. The public may interact live through digital means as authorized by the General Assembly. That answers the question of what they can do, but the question is why can't the public interact live? I think the answer we need to provide is the public may interact live through digital means as authorized by the General Assembly, and the commission will address this to ensure this occurs. Okay, Madam Chair, Commissioner Price.
Yes.
Should we
That's the
should we
background
also
noise
add
of the
that language
meeting.
again of how? Should we also add that language again to be consistent that there will be limited, like media and public access based on the?
No, this is something else. This is a different topic. This is
Oh, the
regarding-
public meetings.
We can also
something
just
else.
specify, how the public can interact live via the YouTube channel and
Yeah, I like that.
via email.
Well, but that doesn't actually. I talked to an attorney this week at the governor's office, and we are not following the law on this. If we have a public meeting and they're supposed to, if we have a public meeting and they're supposed to interact in the public meeting, that does not cover that piece of the public meeting law. So we are not providing that through the YouTube comment feature and saying that you can respond to an email and we'll get to it. So we have to address that in another way and come up with a solution. So I think our answer needs to be, we will come up with a better solution on how to handle this in the interim.
Okay, let's see. So what I have now is the public may interact live via or through digital means as authorized by the General Assembly, and the commission will address the issue to ensure this occurs.
Yes.
Yes.
What happens if a polling site is shut down by a protest? Law enforcement will be contacted and asked to restore order. I don't think this is specific enough. What law enforcement? Sheriff's Department, City of Little Rock?
It depends on where it occurs.
Okay. So based on
True.
Well,
if it's in Little Rock, this is North Little Rock.
Contact.
Okay.
Can we just say local law enforcement?
Yeah. Or
Local law enforcement. The appropriate law enforcement, local law enforcement.
Yeah,
the
appropriate local law enforcement. Yeah. Should we say we'll
The
be
appropriate
contacted
local law
to
enforcement agency. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
The appropriate local law enforcement agency will be contacted and asked to restore order. Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
Order and access to the polls.
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
Good catch. Good ad, Commissioner Price.
Thank you. Did you get that order and access to the polls?
I have, the appropriate local law enforcement agency will be contacted and asked to restore voter and access to the polls.
Great.
Good deal.
Okay. Where do we park for the downtown voting site on election day? So this should be expanded to say, where do we park for the downtown voting site during early voting and election day? I meant to put both. So this is something that's changed and one I'm working on. I've been working on since before the press release. This is before the press or between the clerk and the mayor. And I'm waiting on communication from the mayor's office, who contacted me today to say they would be getting back to me on parking, because street parking is not available currently around this area because some of it's been shut down. So we need to say street parking is limited. However, we are working on a plan to expand parking.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with
Hopefully
that
we can
too.
get a plan.
Can we say limited street parking is available and we are working on a plan?
To expand
Yeah.
parking.
Does that sound all right?
Yes.
Yes.
My mother is elderly. Can I assist her in the polling site despite the social distancing requirement? Yes, a voter may bring an individual with him or her to a voting site for the purpose of assisting him or her in making his or her ballot. I think that could be said a different way. Yes, a voter may bring someone to assist them to vote.
I've actually done that myself. Last time I voted with my mother, she forgot her reading glasses. So she got up to the machine and was like, I can't see this. Can my son come over here and help me? So I can attest to
I love
that.
Okay, so what's the wording? Yes.
Yes, a voter may bring someone with them to vote.
To assist them with their vote?
To assist
Whoa,
them.
to help. Yeah, I don't want to say you're bringing someone that's going to vote, because that sounds like I'm going to bring someone's going to vote for me.
A voter
You're gonna-
may bring
Right.
them to assist.
A voter may bring someone with them to a voting site for the purpose of
So,
assisting.
yes.
It seems wordy.
And just keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple.
It's very wordy. Lots of him or hers, him or hers, him or hers.
Yeah.
Or just say yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, you can bring someone with you to help you vote. So yes, just yes.
Yes.
Yes would be
Yes,
fine.
Yes.
Yes, period.
Well, wait. I want to bring some. Brian, you now is there not a rule that you can only assist so many people, right?
6.
Mhm.
6. So do we
Yes.
need to mention that, or do you think that's getting off the rails?
That's getting off the
That's probably a
rails.
little bit too much detail.
Yeah, because this is
The question is
specific for
about a
one
specific
person.
voter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. My absentee did not have a postmark. Will it count? I think this is getting off the rails. The question is, my absentee did not have a postmark. Will it count?
Well, if you delivered it in person, it doesn't have a postmark, right?
Well, we're talking
If you
about so the question should be, my mailed absentee did not have a postmark. Will it count? So we should change it to mailed. I'm looking for the answer regarding mailed absentee.
Well, if it was mailed, why would it not have a postmark?
It happens.
And ultimately, that's not something that the voter has control over.
No,
Right.
but it happens.
And
And
I've actually spoken to the clerk on this question before, and she mentioned to me that they mark when if someone drops it off in person, they mark it, and then
yes,
of course you sign in that you dropped it off. So they have the information for the ballots that are turned in person.
Well, like the ballots are always time stamped when they're received, whether they're
Yeah.
whether they're
So
dropped off in person, received via
here's
mail.
the answer, since it's not required. The clerk didn't provide the answer to the question. The question should be, I'm sorry, I'm having to scroll because I think Jody's scrolling it. Hold on a second. My mailed absentee did not have a postmark. Will it count? The answer should be the absentee ballot will count if all other, well, I'm trying to think how to say this.
Yeah.
When the absentee ballot, when the envelope has been received by the secretary, so depending on where it's mailed, there will be a time stamp placed on it. And as long as it's received by election day, that should have been the answer. And we can give it back to the clerk and let her answer it if she would like. But
What if we just say the absentee ballot will count as long as it's received by the 7:30 on election day.
But just change that to mailed and then take out the other stuff.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, change that to mailed.
Take out the word mailed.
No, add mailed.
Add mailed.
Yep.
Okay.
And then what you just said.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I forgot to put my voter statement in with my absentee. Can I bring it? No. All required absentee forms and materials must be submitted with the ballot. Good answer. What happens if I sign my voter statement with my married name and my absentee application with my old name? The name on an application for absentee ballot must match the name on the voter statement accompanying the return absentee ballot. The County Board of Election Commissioners must examine all of the facts to determine whether the name voter in the voter statement is the person that applied to the absentee ballot. It is recommended that every voter having a name change submit an updated voter registration application. That's a lot of information. Who answered this one?
Okay. That was the
That is a lot of information.
County attorney?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Which I mean, I guess you would kind of expect that.
Yeah. Yeah, I should have known. Okay, that's a good one. My husband isn't, this is a trick question. My husband is in the hospital with COVID and I cannot go see him, but he had already requested a ballot. Can I complete his absentee ballot for him? No. Arkansas law mandates that the voter mark the absentee ballot and place it in the provided envelope. That envelope must then be placed in the outer envelope with the required documentation, including the completed and executed voter statement. I'm surprised no one added anything here.
No, I mean that's.
Well, you have an interesting issue here.
Commissioner Price has been kicked off for a minute.
Okay.
He should be working his way back.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Commissioner Price just wanted me to let you know he got kicked off and he is working to get logged back in real quick. Okay, I'm admitting him now, so he's coming back into the call. He should be on any second now. Commissioner Price, do we have you back?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Welcome back.
Thank you. My Wi-Fi decided to just crash. So
AT&T. What is the difference between the county clerk and the election commission? The county clerk is an elected official charged with maintaining the voter rolls for the county. The election commission is an administrative board charged with conducting elections within the county in accordance with Arkansas election laws and regulations.
Just real quick, the county clerk also had an answer to this. The county clerk is
Okay.
elected by the voters of Pulaski County. See duty 75-401. The county election commission is elected by their respective county parties. See duty 74107.
I appreciate that, but I kind of like this answer. It's a little bit easier for the voters to digest. They don't have to go try to look up statute.
Yeah, and it's extraneous information that's not necessary to answer the question.
But I appreciate her submitting that answer. Is there a time limit? Oh, hold on. Sorry. I moved but forgot to change my address. Can I just vote at my old address?
Let's see, the
No.
county clerk. Oh, I was gonna say.
Oh, did I skip one? No.
Well, the county clerk also has an answer to this.
Okay,
Their
well,
answer.
let me finish.
Okay,
Can I finish first?
please do.
No. You must vote at the ballot assigned to the address where you reside. You will be required to update your address when you go vote or given, so you're given the correct ballot. Okay, go ahead.
The county clerk's answer is the voter is urged to submit a change of address form to the county clerk.
Actually, the correct answer here should be no. You must vote at the ballot assigned. You must, I moved but forgot to change my address. Can I just vote my old address? No. You must not just vote at the in the precinct or the area that you're where you reside, but you also must fill out a voter registration form with a change of address, not a address change form. So we need to put that in there as well. An address change form is not accepted by the Secretary of State's office. It's a actual voter application. So could you change that?
In where, like,
They need to fill out the actual change of address they need to update their voter registration information by changing their address. And it would be good here to also add, if they have moved from one county to another, they must transfer their voter registration at least 4 days prior to election day to be eligible to vote.
might I make this is not really relevant, or this is just to this question. Should I change that question mark to a period on the first on the question, the first statement in the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so, no, you must vote on the ballot assigned to the address where you reside. And the second part of it was,
update your address.
You will need to fill out a change of address with a voter. You will need to change your address with the voter registrar, or however you want to say that. And then I would also add, if you have moved from one county to another within Arkansas, you will have to transfer your voter registration at least 4 days prior to election day to vote.
can we just say if you've moved from a different county, you
have to transfer your voter registration.
Different county within Arkansas,
Within Arkansas, because if they're like, well, I moved
because
from,
out of state's different.
if they move from Texarkana to Texarkana, and that's Texas to Arkansas, that's a different state. That's different.
So-
That's a 30-day.
You'll need to transfer your voter registration.
at least 4 days prior to election day to be eligible to vote.
Can we just put the date?
No, I'd say it's 4 days prior. If, these FAQs should be good for every election, not correct? They're going to be kind of general FAQs.
Well, like that, like it's titled "Facts for the 2020 General Election." That's the only reason I say that.
All right, let's say 4 days prior, and they put in parentheses. What is that? October 30th.
October 30th, yes.
So I would just put 4 days prior, and then maybe in parentheses October 30th.
I agree, Madam Chair.
2020.
We can update it for the next one. That's the biggest issue that we typically have. People not realize they have to do that.
Okay, now on the second sentence, you will be required to update your address when you are using a voter registration application, or do we need to specify that?
No, just just put you must vote. I don't like that ballot assigned to the address where you reside. You must that's really, I can't even get my thoughts straight on this.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
And barely, you sound really far away.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
yes.
much better.
Yay, you're back.
I think
Can we just say you must vote based on the address where you reside?
where you permanently reside. Yes, that would be
Cut out the
better.
word ballot. Just cut out the word
You're
ballot.
really quiet again. Yeah, cut out the word ballot. That's really confusing.
You must vote based on the address where you reside. You'll be required to update your address when you go to vote.
Permanently
So-
reside. Those are very specific in the law. Those are not the same.
Okay,
I can reside somewhere
you're-
temporarily, but not permanently.
where you permanently reside.
Yeah.
You'll
I
be
could go somewhere for
required
3 months, but not be permanent.
you'll be required to update your address when you go to vote, so you're given the correct ballot. If you have moved
Yes.
from a different county within Arkansas, you will need to transfer your voter registration 4 days prior, October 30th, 2020, to the election.
Yes. Sounds great. We didn't lose Price again, did we?
Can you hear me?
He said,
Yes, there you are.
Am I faint, or can you hear me loud and clear?
No,
Loud and clear.
you're back.
Okay, great.
William and Charlie.
Good deal.
Okay. Is there a time limit on voting, as in the voting booth? 10 minutes. Used to be 5, right? So now,
Yes,
yeah,
they
it's
increased
10
The
minutes.
last session at 10.
So
But Brian, I
bet
believe-
people
I
don't
believe-
even-
Brian, I believe if you ask for additional time, they will give you additional time. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, it's not really a standard that's strictly enforced.
Okay.
No.
All right. 10
It's
minutes.
just something people probably don't even realize. If I get in line at 7:30 p.m. on election day, do I still get to vote? This is one that is awfully contested. All persons already in line when the polls close will be allowed to vote. Oh, so no one could answer my question here next, and I know the answer to this one.
I do too.
I know because I know someone who had this issue.
Yep.
I am active military and have an Arkansas ID, but an Alaska address. What do I use for my residential address, Commissioner
You would-
Price?
I would say you would use the address, your permanent address where you were registered to vote.
You would use. I should have expanded this. Let me expand this.
Okay.
I'm an active military and have an Arkansas ID and not registered to vote, but have an Alaska address.
Oh,
So think about this. I'm an active military. My Arkansas ID has an Alaska address printed on my Arkansas ID. I'm not a registered voter. What do I use?
That's a good question.
Well,
I'm
this
going to
is a
let
trick
you.
question.
I'm
If
going to
you're
let
not a
you field
registered
that.
voter, you're not a qualified elector.
Wrong, wrong. Brian, do you know the
What?
answer?
You use the federal postcard application and write-in ballot.
You
All
got
right,
to think
Christy,
about this.
tell us.
These are UACAVA voters. This is somebody whose address, whose permanent residence is in a state from where they originally came. They have an ID from their original state, but they can have their current address from where they're living on their state ID. Their permanent address is actually from where they used to live in their old state, but that's actually their real state that they're from. Just because they never registered to vote does not mean they can't register to vote at that address. Did that confuse y'all?
Well, what is the answer?
So
That
the
these people-
answer would be they would use the address where they last resided permanently in their state before they were in their active military
Before they were deployed.
residence.
You would
Before they
use
were
your
deployed,
permanent. You would use the address where you last resided in Arkansas.
Yes.
Yes. Can we change the question to mention that you're not a registered voter? Because that's what threw me off.
Yes, yes.
Because
Sorry,
I was
left
thinking
you out that part.
I was thinking of that instance that we had. Remember where someone had put two different addresses? They had like their address where they were stationed, and they also had their address where they were, or their permanent address in Arkansas. That's what I thought you were asking.
Yeah, trust me, this one stumped me too. I had to go seek counsel on this one from a few people because I was like, I did not know you could have an Arkansas ID with an out-of-state address on it. That really blew my mind.
Well, that is a very
So
good question,
that's a
though.
tricky one.
That's a good question, and we want to make sure we're, that any of our active military know their rights and that they're still able to vote. So that's a great
Absolutely.
question.
Yeah. So I will admit I did not know the answer to that at first. So, but it was fun stumping you guys for a minute. Okay. Will there be security on? Sorry, Brian. Do you needed some more?
No, that like security, or you would use the address where you last resided in Arkansas.
Yes. Will there be security on site during early voting and on election day? Security will be on site, should be one word, at select locations during early voting and on election day. I think security should be as in the sheriff's department.
I agree, because you don't want them to think it's like private security.
You're right, exactly.
Mhm.
I want to be transparent with what that security means.
It's not going to be it's not going to be anyone else but the sheriff. Is that correct?
We have private security at some sites.
Oh, we do? Oh, okay.
Okay.
And the reason I worded it that way is because I wanted to be vague about it.
Gotcha. Because it could be either
You don't
or.
really want to advertise what security, what exactly your security plan is publicly.
We can advertise we're having security.
And that's basically kind of the goal of that statement is we have
Okay.
security.
Okay, that's fine.
That works for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are all my questions.
Yay.
Okay.
We got through them.
All right, commissioners, did we have any that we needed more clarification on? Any that we haven't already addressed?
I think just that one that Mr. Schultz was so kind to join us for and provide clarification. Other than that one, I think I'm good.
Yeah, they all reached out. I'm very excited. I thought this would be a lot harder to get, but everybody came together, and I'm pretty happy about that.
Great. So do we need to?
And I appreciate it. Thank you to the clerk. Thank you to the county attorney.
Yes, thank you to the clerk and to the attorney for supplying those answers, and to Mr. Schultz for joining us. We appreciate you.
Yes, and thank you. Yes. That's very helpful.
Okay. Well, since we've made it through our FAQs, I would entertain a motion.
I'm going to make a motion because it's kind of going to be specific. I make a motion that that as these are edited and cleaned up and put into a the letterhead of the Placey County Election Commission, that we publish these on our website, send these to the media and to the Arkansas Democrat Gazette for publishing no later than Sunday night. And that's my motion.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
I have a question, if I may.
Go ahead.
So would this be this may be a Jody question. So would this be like a PDF that we would just have on the website that people could click and download and then print off?
Typically, I do like to provide a link with a PDF because a PDF is downloadable and it's
Right.
a lot clearer than an image. For the notice of election, we've provided an image and a clickable link, which allows someone to have the actual PDF and download it because, again, it's a much clearer and someone can download the document and then resize it so they can, it suits their needs. They're,
Great.
So
Thank you.
can I ask if I can ask the grace of the commission, taking this exact document, I can place this into a ping or JPEG into a much friendlier graphic or infographic that we could publish on our social media sites for early voting.
That's great.
That's cool with me too. But I also do like the idea of having it as a PDF where people can print it off.
Let's just make
I will also thank you for making that in a JPEG. You have my appreciation on that. That makes my job a lot easier.
So if we could just make sure there's no grammar issues, no punctuation issues, and everything's clean, that'd be perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Any other FAQ
No, ma'am.
cues? Okay.
None for me.
Website is our next, and I believe Commissioner Starr was the requester of this being on the agenda. So Commissioner Starr, carry on.
Website? What's
Yes,
the
did that
website?
This is regarding the language that you had flagged.
Yes.
We removed it from the website, but I never heard back from you as to whether you wanted it removed from the agenda.
From the agenda. Is it on the agenda as well?
Well, you had requested it to be placed on the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's been a long
But then
week.
when I let you know we removed the language from the website, you didn't say anything about the agenda, so I just left it there in case there was something else you wanted to talk about.
No, I just wanted to note that I wanted it removed from the website. I didn't want people to think that we were closed. It was just language saying that we were closed on our website.
We're going to move forward then.
Great, thank you.
Downtown parking for early voting, I'll go ahead and move to that item. We have discussed it briefly through the FAQs. Commissioners, I'll open it up to discuss this. Whoever would like to go first.
Well, I think I sent y'all the email that I sent to the mayor. I sent an email to the mayor prior to finding out about the presser that we unfortunately were not invited to. But no one had responded yet. And then I did see the response today that they are going to get back to us on that, which is great. I did see the newspaper article in the Democrat Gazette today, but they had left out that I had requested parking from the mayor's office because, as I think y'all have y'all know me pretty well. I don't complain about things. I normally seek a solution. So they had left that part out, and I did ask for a correction in that news to include the fact that I did ask for parking so that we would have that addressed. So I'm looking forward to hearing back from the mayor's office on how we could hopefully find a parking lot that we could use and get that information out to the voters. I'm looking forward to it. I think they'll come up with something. There's a lot of spaces around there, and they have either ownership or relationships with that. And that would be great because parking has always been a problem. And by having some of that diverted traffic, that's going to create more of a problem. And we just don't want people to think that they can't vote down, can't access it. I think we're going to get a solution here very soon.
Okay.
And the other
Okay.
part of the parking was, I'm sorry, is I
Go ahead.
really would like if the staff could designate 3 spaces for the commissioners during election day so that we do not have to walk too far considering the time of the day, the night, and how incredibly late it's going to be for our security and safety.
I agree with that.
That shouldn't be issue since by the time of the meeting, the parking lot will be empty.
We've got some orange cones that we can also put out there, and just to ensure that we have close parking for you guys.
Right. Thank you. If I may, I have some additional insight regarding the presser that took place yesterday.
Okay.
So I actually was invited to attend that presser. However, I was not reached out to until 9:00 p.m. the night before, and I couldn't attend because it was on short notice. And I was not sure if the other 2 commissioners had been reached out to. The person who contacted me from the mayor's office, Stephanie Jackson, said she couldn't get a hold of Commissioner Starr, Commissioner Gomez, but would try again in the morning. So I wasn't sure if the 2 of you had been informed or not. But I just wanted to say on record that I was reached out to. However, it was very late and kind of last minute. And she did apologize for that. She said that the press conference was kind of came together quickly and was confirmed very last minute. But I just wanted to provide that insight that it was kind of like after hours when I was reached out to. It was actually past 9:00 when they reached out to me.
I was dropped, but I turned off my Wi-Fi so I could get back my Verizon and be able to connect. So I missed your statement, Commissioner.
Oh, sure. I will repeat. I was saying that Stephanie Jackson from the mayor's office did reach out to me and invite me to attend the press conference. However, she reached out to me at 9:00 the night before. She said that she apologized for the lateness of her call and had said that the press conference had been kind of come together quickly and was not going to happen, and then it ended up happening after all. So it was confirmed late in the day. She said she had tried to reach out to both Commissioners Starr and Gomez, but did not have your personal information and would try to reach out again in the morning. So I was not sure if the 2 of you had been reached out to or had knowledge of the event, but I couldn't attend just because I had a conflict. But I just wanted to say for the record, they did reach out to me, but it was very late. It was past 9:00.
Oh, thank you. That's good to hear. Yeah, no one reached out to me.
Nobody reached out to me either.
And I had my information published on the state board's website. So I'm not sure, but thank you very much for letting me know. That's good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. And if it makes it, if it makes it any more helpful, it was kind of a roundabout way that they reached out to me. It was through like a Facebook message and then a phone call. So it was, obviously like after hours trying to get a hold of somebody. So again, I didn't know what luck they had in reaching out to either 2 of you.
Yeah.
So
I was like, they have my contact information. I literally served on a subcommittee. So I don't know. But I'm glad to hear that. I would have liked to have representation there because some questions were being asked that were only appropriate for the commission to answer. And it would have been good to have someone there.
Right. So further transparency, I let Ms. Jackson know. I said, if you have any press events in the future, please let us know in advance. And even if they're just tentative, at least let us know several days in advance so that we can make preparations to have someone from the office attend, at least one of the commissioners. And she said that she would do so and let us know earlier in the future.
Thank you. Yes, definitely not at 9 o'clock at night, the night before.
Yeah, not 9 o'clock the night before.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Price.
I agree with that.
All right. And that's all I have.
Okay, so let's move on to the international election observers. I got a notice from the state board that they approved the OSCE, which is a international group that observes elections. And from what I understood, from what I was told by Mr. Schultz, was that the state board approved the international election observers, the OSCE, I believe is their acronym, but that each county would have to approve that on a county level. And one of the things to remember is there are observers, so it would be akin to our poll watchers. But it's same as poll watchers, except for they are observing. They are not, I don't know, interfering with or interacting with beyond just being able to observe the elections. So I wanted to bring that to the whole commission. I asked what the state board wanted as far as, if Placey County agrees to do that. And I was told there wasn't a formal process to use, but I wanted to bring that to the other commissioners and see if there's any discussion or any thoughts on that. And they would be accompanied and not. I asked Mr. Schultz about this, about them being accompanied, and if that's something that the state board is going to provide. And I believe I'm going to have to get back to him on that. I think at the time I didn't have a 100% answer as far as who's going to provide someone to accompany any international observers who even come to our county. If that doesn't make sense, we can have Mr. Schultz get back on the call with us.
No, they've done it before in the past.
If I may.
Yeah.
And we do it in other countries. Like we participate in it. So go ahead, Mr. Poe.
I would just say that we typically have international observers for every general election from the OSCE, and this is nothing new. And that they're very pleasant people.
Yeah. When I was contacted, I said I personally don't have a problem with that. I said that's fine. The more observers and poll watchers and transparency we can have, I said Placey County is 100% behind transparency. The election commissioners are, and but I wouldn't, just because Mr. Schultz said that the state board said they allowed it, and then it was up to the counties themselves to allow for that on the county basis. I wanted to bring that before the board, especially since early voting starts on Monday. We potentially could have any OSC folks as early as Monday.
I think it's great. I mean, yeah, I knew that we'd have done it in the past, and I think it's great to allow folks from other countries to see how we conduct our election process, and hopefully they'll learn, they'll learn something and they could bring back to their country. They can, help them with their democratic process as well for electing their officials. And I think it's great all the way around. So I'm all for it.
All right. Commissioner Starr, do you have any
Same.
comments or anything?
I
Okay.
agree.
I will entertain a motion just so we can be official.
Yes, so I move to, oh, go ahead,
Go ahead.
Commissioner.
No, you go ahead.
I move to approve the international election observers for the November 3rd, 2020 general election and during early voting leading up to the election.
A second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Okay, so I do have one more thing that came in a late an email today, or I believe it was multiple emails today. So there's been some requests from organizations, possibly like maybe some nonprofits or just, I guess, groups. Well, groups, I think, would cover the request, talking about having, I don't know the best way to describe this, almost like kind of a block party and having particular things such as food and handing out things at our early voting locations. So I just wanted to say a couple things about those multiple emails that were sent out today about organizations going to polling locations and hosting, for better word, a block party. I'm not sure that the best way to describe that, but organizing events, perhaps, would be a better word. So here's the deal. Election day polling locations are typically going to be limited use public forums. And the Election Commission has no control over other people's property. We don't have the authority to open up a public forum in which we have no control. So, I mean, I think we need to remember that polling locations are opened up for limited use for elections. And the limited purpose public forum, we just don't have, that's beyond the scope of our authority, and we can't authorize that. And that would be a First Amendment issue that I'm not I am not prepared to go down that road and give permission to people who I'm not authorized to give permission to. I would say, well, me personally, I need to rephrase that. I absolutely do not think that it is appropriate or the best course of action for the Election Commission to grant authority in which we have no control or we don't have the authority to grant. Because it is a limited use public forum and it's limited for the purpose of elections and not for, once again, I cannot grant permission for something in which, or it's not, let's take out we cannot grant permission for something that we do not control or have the authority to do that.
I have a question, if I may.
Yes.
For Brian. Brian, I know you've gotten several emails from different organizations regarding this. It was my understanding, was it like booths where they would be passing out snacks and water or something like that? Is that what it was?
It varies from one to the other, but mainly like the one thing that it's largely like water and PPE, and I think one of them is talking about snacks.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, like I don't think that they're necessarily asking for permission so much as seeing that or seeking this or seeking to see if the commission would object.
Yes.
Because with a number of these locations, like for instance with this Urban League thing with the library, they arranged it with the library.
Right. And that's to Chair Gomez's point. We have no authority over those locations.
We have no authority to grant it or object to that.
Right, right. However,
Mhm.
Brian, do they still need to follow the rule of staying 100 feet from the door?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the one thing we do have authority over, is just to make sure that they stay outside of that 100-foot radius from the door.
Yeah.
But other than that, they can do whatever they want to do, I guess.
Yes.
Whatever the law requires for, but it does not. Here's the thing: their requests do not require us to either grant or deny, or honestly have any opinion on, unless you are breaching the required 100-foot rule. We as a commission should not get in the middle of this. It's possible First Amendment issue, and we have no control or authority to grant any type of permission. So as far as asking if we have an objection, we do not have the authority to grant or deny that.
I agree.
Yeah, if we start saying, well, we don't object to it, and we tacitly consent, nope. I really strongly think that that's going to put the commission in a tough spot that we should not be getting into because of the purposes of our polling locations, which are awesome. Also, churches, schools, banks, businesses that we just simply we lack the authority to have any part of anyone's outside organization beyond the scope of election. So no, that has nothing to do with us. We are not. I would strongly recommend that no, we do not consent to any of that. That's my recommendation. As far as that the scope of our authority.
So if I may, just to be clear, basically the commission takes no position on it.
As long as they're 100 feet from the door. Right. As long as they're not within 100 feet from the door, we have no position on it, no opinion. Is that correct?
As long as they follow all election laws and are not
Yes.
within 100 feet from the door.
I agree, Commissioner Starr.
Yeah, another way to state it is the commission is indifferent.
No,
No.
the commission is not indifferent. The commission is not taking a stand on this at all.
Okay.
Don't say that we're indifferent. Don't try to. That can be used as that's a tacit.
Okay.
No. The commission lacks the authority to grant that request.
Okay, so the commission takes no position.
No, the commission lacks any authority to grant any requests for these activities, these multiple activities, because of a limited use public forum. Because election.
So the commission.
Election locations and limited use public forums, and the commission lacks any authority to grant organizations, individuals, what have you, to have these events, for lack of a better word. So
Yeah.
we do have a position. Our position is we don't have the authority to grant that. We do not give our permission because we cannot give our permission.
So the commission has no. So the commission has no authority to grant or deny.
Yes.
And mention that polling locations Our limited use public forums would be a term of art that would be advantageous to add to that response. Here's a phrase, word for word phrase, here you go. We cannot open a public forum in which we have no control. Polling locations are opened up for limited use for elections. And because it is a limited purpose public forum or limited use public forum, it can't be, we do not have the authority to open it as a public forum.
Okay.
That would be my recommendation to respond to all of those requests for the commission's input.
So the commission has no authority to approve or deny the request, as per what you said, Chair Gomez. And then, as long as to Commissioner Starr's point, as long as they follow election law and stay within 100 feet of the door, and then the election commission has no position. Is that correct? Something to that effect. I'll let Brian wordsmith it, but.
I think something like that could work. But hit on the fact that we are not opening up a public forum, and polling locations are opened up for limited use for elections. We cannot open a public forum in which we have no control. That's really the key thing there, is we cannot open a public forum in which we have no control. But I think we can take all the input from all the commissioners and marry those and have a cogent answer to that. Because quite frankly, if we say, yes, sure, we don't care, do it, we could open ourselves up to a serious lawsuit. And once you allow for this to happen once, it's a Pandora's box for pulling anything back in. And I don't know about the other commissioners, but I'm fairly certain that we're all unified in not wanting to do any actions in which we're opening ourselves up for lawsuits or violation of, the First Amendment.
Yes, no more lawsuits, please. So Brian, you'll put together that response and run it past us.
And Brian, if you have it right now, we'll take it. Otherwise, if you just want to email it, I can email you an edit.
I'm good if you just run it past the chair, and if she's good with it, I'm fine.
As am I. As am I. I was just boiling down what everyone had said anyway. So as long as
you did a good job with that.
No, thank you.
Commissioner Price, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I can whip something up real quick.
Okay. All right. So Brian, just you go ahead and email it to me. And I know there was at least two. I can't remember if there's maybe more than that, because you sent us multiple emails today, but I can think of at least two different ones, and there may have been more. Just before you respond to them, shoot me an email with what you're going to say, and I'll give you edits on it. Because we don't need to belabor this any further. I think we have exhausted our agenda and
Okay, so
possibly
just real quick,
exhausted the append. Go ahead.
Polling locations are a limited public forum, but the commission may neither grant or deny
request,
Commission.
maybe?
The commission may neither grant nor deny permission over facilities that it does not control.
And as long as you use the phrase limited use public forum.
Yes. The polling
Okay.
locations are a limited use public forum. The commission may neither grant nor deny permission for events at facilities it does not control.
I would add, and the commission cannot open a public forum in which we have no control. Just so it's abundantly clear.
Commission may not open a public forum which it does not control.
There are some events we can control in that forum. Like a campaign rally. Shop.
What was that?
So there are some events we can control. Like a campaign rally.
Okay,
I
I like that.
it's important to not have that part about electioneering or the 100 feet rule.
Yes, I would agree with that. Add the I would say as note or of note possibly, and then include about electioneering and the 100-foot rule.
Because I did read some of the materials attached to that, and there was some materials that would fall underneath there.
Say electioneering is not permitted out within 100 feet of the poll, of the entrance of the poll. Let's see, and this is in response to all the requests.
Yeah.
So let's see, that's a request from the Martin Luther King Commission, the Urban League, and I think there was like one. Was that it, or was there one more?
I think that was it.
I don't remember if there was 2 or 3.
I think whatever ones we get, we should be the same response, right?
It is. We should be at the same exact response.
Okay, I emailed it to y'all.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll get back, Mr. Poe, after this meeting. I'll read it and get back with you for the final yay or nay on it. And Mr. Schultz has just gotten back to me since before we have ended, and wanted to verify, just check. He's like, Placey County is, if we've approved the OSC, the International Election Observers, and if we would be okay with the State Board of Election Commissioners being the ones who escort those folks. And I assume that's okay with everyone, but I just wanted to, since he had gotten back to me before we ended, I wanted to let the other commissioners know.
Absolutely.
That the State Board is going to provide that escorting the observers. And so, I know we're all 100% for transparency, and I wanted to just check with everyone before I responded and said, yes, absolutely, we're 100% on board. And I know I don't even have to ask Commissioner Price, because he has already had visitors that have observed and seen him come out. I do recall he had a guest that came and was a reporter. Was she a reporter that came and watched our elections?
Yes, yes, she was a reporter from New York, but she was working for a Filipino media station. Yeah, she came during the
I
primary.
think we have this great precedent of welcoming and transparency and welcoming anyone and everyone who is interested in our elections.
Was that this year?
Yes, it was during the primary.
Oh my gosh, this has been the longest year.
Yeah. Yeah, that was 2020.
This has been like 3 years in 1 year.
It has.
Wow.
Absolutely. Okay, anything else? Because we are, I think date night time is almost getting over with this. So I think we've exhausted our.
One more thing, Madam Chair.
Okay, go ahead. What is it?
Other business is that we have a monitor.
Yes. Oh, we do have a monitor also from the state. Yes. We had a monitor. I don't know. Would someone like to give a recap of the SBC meeting?
I wasn't there.
I was not present myself. However, I did hear back that we were our monitor. We were going to have a monitor during early voting as well as on election day. We'll be monitoring our county buildings, I believe. Is that correct, Mr. Poe?
That is my understanding.
Okay. Right.
There was also talk of monitoring the tabulation process, perhaps.
Okay.
For like the election night tabulation. I think Mr. Schultz has the specifics on that.
Okay.
Because I was also unable to attend the meeting or, view the meeting as I was training poll workers at the time. So I just kind of got a recap.
I did hear, like I said, I wasn't able to attend myself, but I did hear that our clerk came and attended at one point.
How are we getting notified of those meetings? Because I'm not getting any notifications of those meetings.
I'm not either.
I'm not either.
How do we get on the notification list?
Is there something we got to sign up for?
I thought they notified all the commissioners, but I'll call their office on Monday
Well, they didn't have my email address wrong, so that could have been it.
I'll call the office and request that you all be notified.
Thank you.
I feel like I used to receive them, but I don't now.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I haven't received a notification in many moons. Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Pope. Anything else for the good of the board as far as other business?
That's it. Thank you.
May I add one more thing? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Can I add something in closing? I just want to thank everyone for having this meeting, and thank you again to our county clerk and our county attorney and the staff for putting together that FAQ. I think that's going to be very helpful for the voters here in Pulaski County and probably beyond as well. And I'm looking forward to us starting early voting on Monday and ready for the election. So yay, go team.
Yay, go vote, go vote. I love it. Well, do we have any public comment?
Let's see.
Nothing on the YouTube channel.
Nothing in email either, or nothing. No comments to PCEC either.
Because we answer their questions.
That's great. Excellent. Well, without further ado, we will be adjourned. Our next scheduled meeting is Mr. Poe, when is our next scheduled meeting? Just so we can have it on record here. Is it election night? Is that our next scheduled meeting?
I believe so.
I mean, officially, our ballot canvassing is a public notice that event is happening. But we will meet as a commission on election night. And what time were we meeting in the Jeffrey Hopkins room? Is it 7:30, 8:30, 9:30? 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9 p.m. I would just tell the other commissioners to I would recommend you are comfortable, and you might want to bring a snack or whatever it is you need to hunker in for a
Bike squad can come, Kathy.
You need a what?
Bike squad.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. Got to take care of them early because they may close at some point. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get this done in a timely manner. But I'm praying for election results and they come in clean and quickly. So, without further ado, if there's nothing further from any of the commissioners, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you.